It's funny how I suddenly feel conscious when the camera is on and I know about it, right? Like I was so happy talking like before that.
Yeah. Why do you want to touch dinosaurs? Anyway,
How do I compete with that?
I made 2 jokes and now he's found this angle and he won't stop.
You want people under the age of 18 to watch this show.
First, nothing is going to work until I just maybe sleep better. So maybe I should try that thing. So maybe at 110, I'm going to call you, Nikhil. Be like, yo, that Vegovi thing you were talking about.
But is there a number when it changes? Like, is 6 not enough and 8 enough? Do you have that?
Like sleep?
8. 8 is a good number. You should go close enough to 8. And if you don't, you just make it a habit.
Bro, Nikhil, if you sleep 8 hours, you're going to trade like a madman. You're going to all of a sudden be like 65% profit today. Dude, if you slept 8 hours, you would be short 1 week ago. Like you would know this shit.
Nah, it's just that some random crap on TV, some work, some game on my phone. These are the things that keep me up. It's not some fancy work. or
Doesn't Nitin like sleep really well? He speaks a lot about health.
No,
right?
he doesn't. He gets like maybe 6 hours or 7 max, pushing it. He sleeps early, wakes up early, but
That's what I do. I'm in bed by 10:30.
How much do you sleep?
I sleep like easy 8 hours.
really?
I don't
8
wake
hours,
up at
really?
all. Yeah.
So Apramaya
that's-
is a genuinely very well-rounded guy. You know, everything is right about him. Like, you know, the college he went to, what he did at work, his wife, his daughter. Like, generally, he's a very well-rounded guy.
8 hours? Like
8
to the
hours,
dot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
He
I
sings,
sleep
he's in
at,
a band, he has a band.
Yeah, I'll sleep at 12 and I'll wake up by 8 and I'm ready.
And how do you wake up though? Like how do you guys wake up?
Without an alarm.
Without an alarm?
With an alarm. With
Without.
many alarms.
Oh, Sebi doesn't call you to wake you up?
No. Starts at 7 a.m. The first alarm is 7. The last one is 7:45 a.m. In between that, I have 10.
Amazing. But what year was this when you lost this weight?
2018.
18.
Actually, 17 middle to 18 June. I've been constant largely from 18 June.
And then did you start bulking up after that?
I did. But then, you can't maintain it at a constant rate. You have to kind of go up and down, which is the right thing to do. Because you can't train your body to do just one thing.
I've had a peak weight, dude. I've weighed 115. I've gone down to 90. And I've come back to 95, 96 right now.
What took you to 115?
115 was my first startup. Taxi for sure. So I would eat at home. I would eat another breakfast after I reached office because I would have gone at 8, 9 o'clock. Then I would eat 2 lunches because I would have taken my lunchbox. And I had a team lunch or some meeting. Or
Hey,
something
why
like
don't
that.
you guys introduce yourself a little bit? Everybody knows Tanmay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he needs no
no one
introduction. But maybe like do 30 seconds.
Yeah. I'm Apramaya and I'm from Bangalore. I'm a Kannadiga. I'm most known as an entrepreneur. I founded and ran Taxi for Sure before this, sold to Ola. Now I run Koo, which is a social media platform competing against Twitter globally. So that's me.
How are you feeling about Elon?
Elon is awesome. I think whatever he does makes news, and that makes microblogging sexier than what it was. And we're in the same
Nice.
space.
So Elon has been good for Koo?
Absolutely.
I think
So
so.
I
yeah,
think
of course.
so he's taken it more west than what it was already,
Yeah.
and we're more languages, we're more adapting to countries, we're more creator focused in terms of we want creators to monetize better, we want to give them more tools, all of those things. So I think we're kind of like the opposite of what Twitter has been, and we don't know where Elon is taking Twitter right now, so it's all good.
Apriya probably has his notifications on for Elon's tweets. Every time Elon is tweeting out some feature, Apriya is like, tried that, doesn't work, Elon. I did that.
But you know
No,
what he was
actually-
telling me the other day? In Brazil, apparently the politicians coup first and then tweet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right?
Wow.
That's insane.
The
Yeah.
president of Brazil is on Koo. The people love Koo there. Like a friend of mine was at the World Cup, and he was in the Brazil match, and he found some Brazilians who were taking photos. He asked them, "Is it going on Instagram?" They said, "No, we have a new network called Coup." So
Very cool.
it's really
What happened that all of a sudden you went vertical in Brazil?
so we keep doing our hacky things, right? Like one thing we do is we keep advertising articles about us.
Mhm.
One article is second largest microblog in the world, and we kept advertising that to journalists across the world. And one Brazil journalist who's famous picked it up and started talking.
Nice.
And another thing that added to it, of course, they were looking for an alternative than Twitter. And third one is, which was the most important, which is why it became viral, is because "cu" means ass
Oh yeah.
in Portuguese.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So it became cool to actually talk about it. Follow my coup,
Oh.
right?
So Tanmay, what have you been up to of late? Everybody has seen you on TV, on many different platforms for more than a decade now.
If I'm on TV, it's probably bad news.
Not many people know that you're very popular amongst the fairer sex as well, especially with the weight loss and all of that.
Oh my god.
Tell us a bit about that and how it works.
weren't we going to talk about the metaverse, guys? So Nikhil is the worst wingman in the world. Okay, he's the worst wingman. Okay, I told Nikhil I'm single.
What help do you need? Like you're already getting everything you need, right?
I told Nikhil saying I'm single and I'm trying to date, and so we're having a get together at Nikhil's house. Okay, and I'm talking to some girl. Nikhil shows up. It's like, hey, have you met Tanmay? He's very attractive to the opposite sex. I'm like, what are you doing? This is not how you wingman. You just queue and you leave. I don't think I'm very alpha in that sense. I'm known for, he laughs.
Women like that?
Harmless.
You don't
He's a harmless guy who's laughing.
And attractive. And attractive.
and losing
Just
weight by the
to
day.
be clear, no one's watching me for the attractiveness. He's harmless. He's laughing at memes. Why not?
But once they watch you, you automatically become even more attractive, right? When you meet them in person.
What a
Yes.
pathetic man you are.
Yes, first hand
You
proof.
took, I made 2 jokes and now he's found this angle and he won't stop.
I've seen that people pay money to watch other people eat food. It's
Yeah.
a thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
why?
was-
But I don't think people like us.
Why is he making a
Maybe-
big is my question.
No, dude, but this is true in some sense. I met a friend of mine from school after 30 years in New York this time. Okay, and she wanted to eat a hot dog from one of those stands outside New York, and I didn't realize that there's so many varieties of hot dogs there, right? And she's like, and it's really big. You can't eat it with one hand, and it's pretty messy. But apparently, and I googled this and saw it. She basically came back to me and said, the hottest thing about Tom Cruise is him eating. And I was like, what?
My God,
I've
let's
never
eat.
heard this in my life. Now, this is a woman telling me, so I'm going to believe it. She's like, why don't you just Google search Tom Cruise eating? Right? And
Maybe we
in
should,
every movie, by the way, from Meet Joe Black to Top Gun, he's eating.
Dude, you
maybe
should
we should just catch up and eat food. Is it really that
There are
much?
women who watch him. Where are they? Umang, what does your company do?
So we have a family of apps. One is in news, which is Daily Hunt. It's the largest news aggregator,
Daily Night.
right? In 16 different local languages. Then the other we launched the ban of TikTok in India.
You launched the ban.
No. So sorry, at the ban, at the,
Maybe secretly.
of TikTok in India, we launched Josh.
Oh yeah, of course. Josh.
So
Yeah.
that's us.
Yeah.
And we have a third app called Public Vibe,
Okay.
which is a hyper-local video-only content app in 15 different languages.
They raised money at some ridiculous.
Huh?
They raised money at some ridiculous number. You didn't see? It was all over the news. Right? Some 7 billion, 8 billion, something like that.
Five.
Yeah, Daily Hunt is huge, right? Yeah, Josh was huge.
How many people work at Daily Hunt now?
Employees is 2,700.
wow.
But I think the creator ecosystem that we work with is about 150,000 people on the Daily Hunt side. and millions of people on the Josh side.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think old school media is dying and these creators will take over?
You're like 5 years late on this question.
You think it's answered already?
What is old
Absolutely.
school media
Yeah.
anymore, right?
Like TV channels, newspapers, The Economist, BBC.
Please, Umang, it's your
I'd
question.
love to go after you because I'm in the midst of the talk. But okay, my 2 cents. I think at a high level, any business, and there's a little bit of if you don't transform yourself every 5 to 7 years, you're gonna die, right? So the average lifespan of any company on S&P is 15 years. So all businesses, in my mind, are destined to die, however grave that sounds, right? But coming to the specific question.
But they've been around for like what?
They've been
100
around for years, right? But if you also think about where the world has come from, right? The first way that people got access to information was the newspaper, right? And so it kind of liberated society at so many levels.
Of course.
Right? From the world that we came from, which was more land of dictators and rulers and so on and so forth. So it had its place in time, but if you look at any place in the world, newspaper readership is dying. Print circulation is dying or slowly dying. But a lot of the smart companies are morphing to go behind the behind the paywall with very premium content.
Right.
And you named Economist, New York Times is a great example. So my view is that newspapers will have to morph their model. It can be a add-on, but their main business will be, it'll have to go and be digitally driven. TV, I'm a lot more positive about.
Why is that?
Because TV and digital kind of work together. TV is kind of morphing into a digital device, right?
Yes.
All TVs are becoming Android or Apple TVs or smart TVs, right?
But
So-
you don't mean TV news channels. You mean content on TV.
I mean content, right? So if you think about it today, what is TV? TV is basically, it's coming through broadcast.
Right.
So broadcast will go away. It'll all become IP based, right? And so, for instance, you and I read the Business Today, right? I didn't even know Business Today is a partner on Daily Hunt, so that's how I got to know. But they launched a TV channel which is pure IP, and it's just so it's not on YouTube. It's beamed onto TVs through IP and through an app, right?
Oh.
So it's quite an interesting play that I think all TVs ultimately will become smart, right?
We're already there, actually.
They're already there.
Yeah, I have a TV, but I haven't seen what's being broadcasted. I choose what I watch.
How did the Bitcoin rut and the whole crypto winter in a way affect the influencers? Because they were sponsoring a lot of them, right?
Yeah, there were some cases of an exchange went down, a couple of influencers had done deals. I know in America a lot of influencers participated in like open pump and dump, right? Like people on Twitter, they pointed out that said influencer said buy here and then said sell here, and when they said buy, you could see their wallet selling when they said buy and that kind of thing. So those guys got wrecked. In fact, the biggest one was Logan Paul. That was the biggest news. It was the news the last couple of months. He launched an NFT project. Then another independent investigative YouTuber called CoffeeZilla made a 4-part series that got over 30 billion views.
30 billion.
30 million views. 30 million views, saying that how Logan Paul scammed his followers. Logan Paul was forced to come out and address the thing, and he apologized and he said, I'm gonna make this project right. He had launched a crypto game, so to say. So the winter was pretty bad. A lot of YouTubers had a ton of trouble. In general, influencers would be better off supporting developer initiatives over any kind of shilling of any kind of token. I think that's just the smarter route to go. It's also the more productive route, and you find yourself in a new community that'll actually appreciate you, because very few mainstream influencers actually talk to developers, so to say. So when I make some sort of coding joke, they feel like, oh my God, this is about me. I didn't even think he'd be interested. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Right? So, you know how there was only DD on TV, and everybody had to only watch that, and they had no choice. So, and then channels came up. Everybody picked their channel. Now you can subscribe to different channels. So that's what's going to happen overall. Some channels you won't even know exists. You will only pick. So personalization, as he said, is going to go up. People will, you'll live in a world of sports and never come out, and you'll not even know who Shah Rukh Khan is, right? Like, again, 15, 20 years ago, a movie would launch on Friday. Nothing else was there. Everybody would go to the movie.
Correct.
Right? Now that craze has gone. Like Friday morning, we don't even associate it with
the movie.
movie releases anymore. Right? TikTok is like a micro Bollywood
Josh.
movie.
Josh.
Josh is a micro Bollywood movie.
I will coo that.
I'm not selling anything today. Tanmay?
No?
You're just shorting some stocks.
No.
No?
Yeah, so you were making a point.
Yeah, so I was saying, the guy who entertains us for 30 seconds on a short video app, right? You will never watch him in a 3-hour movie, right? Only Shah Rukh Khan can do a 3-hour movie and get our attention. So that's been split into, millions of people who are talented for 30 seconds and can entertain us for 3 hours.
Yeah, so the framework was that any platform that enables you to be a rock star, okay, that those took prominence. So, and the barrier to become a rock star kept getting lower and lower over the last couple of decades. It began with, YouTube, where
Can I tell you, I went to have a drink with Tanmay once to a bar, okay? People were hounding him. Like, he was like Shah Rukh Khan.
when was
Things
this?
have changed when we went to that place on St. Mark's.
Oh yeah, okay.
There were like 40, 50 of
He's
them.
making a story up.
No. How many? 40, 50 people?
Yeah.
Easy?
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
if
remember.
Tanmay, if you made a movie,
I have a couple of scripts actually.
that'll be a good experiment.
The
If
point
you had to make a movie, what would you make it about?
I would make it for digital.
We want people under the age of 18 to watch the show.
That I don't guarantee that my movie will be for folks under 18. But I would make it for digital. I would make something funny. And how I would optimize is because in life I am under promise over deliver kind of person. So I would do a low budget, something that makes whatever OTT platform was buying it feel like, oh, this person comes with a certain distribution. And for that, this value was great, so I get to do more.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So this is how I would do it. In fact, I called it many years ago when a lot of these OTT platforms were coming. I had a bunch of meetings with them, and I kept telling them then, saying, listen to me. The way for you to guarantee distribution is to find other people who have distribution. Just get them to make shit. It's going to work.
Yep.
Cut to today, we see Bhuvan Bam's show #1 on the platform for 3 weeks straight. Cut to Bassi just posted 10 minutes ago, trending #1 in India. Zakir Khan, last 3 specials, trending #1 in India for 3 weeks straight. Like that thesis completely played out. #1 podcast on Spotify run by a gamer who has 12 million people following him on YouTube. So like I was saying that the barrier to become a rock star kept getting lower and lower and lower. So the question that I keep asking myself is what's the next thing where the barrier to entry becomes so low that everybody is able to do it.
Okay. I had a bunch of questions about the metaverse. I looked online and did not get good answers, right? Like everything was too confusing. I watched a bunch of videos, including the one from Mark Zuckerberg, which was like 2 hours long or something like that. And I was researching the Meta stock, in all fairness, for the last 6 months at the valuation not of today, but of 1.5, 2 months ago. I thought it was fairly valued, 13, 14 times multiples. For context, they were earning X amount of money. The company's value was 14x. And in India, most of the tech companies you invest in our ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, you have to add like 1 or 2 zeros on top of that.
Yeah, 14x is cheap actually.
Yeah. And in many ways, they spend a lot more on innovation than many of the companies here. So the stock looked very appealing to me. And credit to be given to Mark for all the acquisitions he has made in the past.
Oh yeah.
More often than not, he might have appeared wrong initially, but eventually he turned out to be right.
No, but a decade later, you look at all the things that Zuck
He
got
bought.
right.
Yeah.
The amount of shit that was flung at Zuck for the last decade, and today you look at him and you realize, holy shit, he's gotten so many things right, and he's been attacked for things that are not in, like after Elon took over Twitter, right? Censorship, this, that, and all. All of a sudden, Zuck looks like the nice guy. He took everything without saying a word, without leaning into the chaos like Elon did.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the metaverse became such a massive deal, part of which is because Facebook became Meta, right? Like it's a big, bold step. Now, I can't help but think about, all right, Apple has attacked Facebook's ad strategy by the whole privacy thing on the iPhone. Apple's biggest advantage is they have a hardware device. Zuck just needs to he has to ensure the next 25 years, he needs to get hardware right, and his big bet is Oculus or the metaverse, which is it's going to be a thing where we all sit down and we're just always constantly going to be in it, which we kind of are already, because my screen time is like 10 hours a day on the phone.
So let's try and define what metaverse is, because I still don't know. What is metaverse? What is metaverse to Apu?
So I think, as I think Tanmay was about to say that today we already disappear into a different universe, and that universe is based on our taste. Like if I want to get into the lifestyle universe, I'll open Instagram, right? What people are eating, where they're going, all of that is the universe of lifestyle that I live in, right? If I want to get into the world of thoughts and opinions, you'll log into a social network like a Koo or a Twitter, or that's where you go in and you live in that world of thoughts and opinions, and hence the fights are more, opinions are more, So we're logging into universes already, just that it is two-dimensional. It is a very sad experience. While the experiences are great today on the phone.
So do you think you being on Instagram on your phone can also be called metaverse?
I think the metaversial habit is here, but what people, first of all, it's a made-up name.
Yeah.
It's a made-up word.
It's that novelist, right, who wrote that Snow Crash book.
Correct.
Yeah.
He
What
came
was
up with
this?
it.
What was this? Where did this come from?
I think 20, 30 years ago. I can't remember his
Yeah.
name, but I was watching his interview. He wrote a book called Snow Crash, in which I hope the name is right, but in that he described a version of the metaverse, and I think it came from there.
Correct. And a decade ago, there was a movie called Ready Player One, which was like, oh, you put something in, and there's a version of this in the Matrix as well, which is, oh, you get plugged into this world via some device where your physical location is transformed into something.
Yeah. So do you think you have to be transformed into another location to truly call it metaverse, or even your phone can qualify for
Today,
metaverse?
I think logging into our phone is a universe in itself, and each app is a universe, right? And the more immersive that experience gets, the more meta it becomes, right? So we're there, like we're logging off reality. We're in the everybody's looking like this, right? That's already a metaversial experience.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the behavior is already there. But I mean, have all of you tried Oculus?
Yeah.
Look, there are moments where it's pretty amazing, right? And I truly feel like, holy shit, so many other things could be amazing if you could do it. Like I've tried some fitness stuff, I've tried some music
I
stuff.
don't know what you're actually thinking of, but
And
we,
that's
all, we all do.
No, but of course, any new, it's like,
haptics are not in place yet.
it's the Seinfeld joke, right? Which is any new technology, that first thing it gets adapted to is.
Yeah.
In India, the version is it comes in a Punjabi song.
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
Punjabi music artists get it first. So Snapchat's a thing. There's a song about Snapchat. That's how I bought Bitcoin. I heard it in a Punjabi song once.
And Umang, what do you think is the metaverse?
So, if you look at it from where it's defined, the way it's defined, it's three-dimensional. It's
When somebody
immersive.
says metaverse, what is the first picture which comes in your head?
I think the first picture that comes at least the way it's being sold and told is.
Also, you
it's-
were the ex-India CEO of Meta
Yeah.
and Insta. So
Yeah. So the way I look at it, Nikhil, is it's defined as something which is three-dimensional and virtual and augmented reality and virtual reality and all of those buzzwords. But I tend to think of, and I actually differ on my opinion on the Oculus, even though Meta is a great company and everything else, right? But when you think about a device that is one, so bulky, two, costs $400 or $500, whatever it does, the new version, right? It's for very few elite experiences, right? I'm going to push Apu's thought a little bit in terms of what he said. So when you're getting into a phone, imagine a world wherein your phone and your browser or an app or whatever gave you a three-dimensional feel.
you
Okay.
had that cardboard box
Yeah, so
version
you
of
had-
something, right?
You had cardboard, and then of course Google introduced glasses, and at the end of the day, the form factor can keep shrinking, but it's really uncomfortable to wear something, to experience something. So the way I look at technology is, it's very simple, right? Moore's law. If you look at the rate of compute and the cost,
Gets
it's-
cheaper every
it gets
decade.
cheaper every decade, right? And exponentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, today the problem is if I told you, hey, for charity, let's just run a short video platform. Okay, it's prohibitively expensive because all your money is going to your cloud providers, right?
Correct.
It's just really
Call it
expensive.
Mosh.
We call it Mosh. That's a good one. We'll pick that up in a little bit.
yeah.
But imagine that I told you that, hey, can we have the ability of just extending what Apu said, bringing in everything that is provided on the Oculus or through a three-dimensional experience on a simple phone. And then what that would do is it would totally democratize it. So I'm a fan of democratization of technology, right? What makes TikTok or Facebook or in our context, in my world, you know, Koo or Josh or Daily Hunt viral is when, or YouTube, right? Is when everyone can access it on any device, on any surface. But for that to happen in a three-dimensional, you know, feel of an experience, the
Yeah, so
amount
we just have to let Moore's law do its thing, right?
exactly
We just
the
gotta
amount
wait
of
for the next
compute in the
experience.
back end, right, is going to be crazy.
Yeah, already the new Oculus is already better than the last
The
one.
last
And there are
one.
versions of the Oculus. I tried something
Yeah.
called Unreal, which is a simpler version. It's a much smaller thing, and you can actually put it on top of your glasses. They're almost clip-ons,
Oh,
and they don't have the depth of Oculus. Like it doesn't cover your whole face. It's just way smaller. So you can already see that like
Things are progressing, yeah.
things are progressing. Like makes me almost feel like Google Glass was too early.
way ahead. Yeah.
Too early.
That's an interesting segue. We should probably move on to where do we think the metaverse will first be useful and who will adopt it first. Perfect. Hi. So we're four guys from India. We're wondering what the metaverse is, and start from the beginning. Maybe you can tell us what the metaverse is, and we lead with questions. Also, if you could you please introduce yourself for like a minute?
Oh, absolutely. So Marcos Tagliano, I'm founder and CEO of Another One. Another One is a Web3 fashion phygital platform that offers access for phygital product in the fashion industry for user in order to create, exchange, and also redeem the physical assets that are linked to the digital assets, and unlocking opportunity for monetization, but also experience and immersive experience in the metaverse for brands and creators. And we work with different metaverse, we work with different brands, we enhance the fashion industry in terms of like waste. We try not to create inventory and waste for the production line, and also we create an environment where the user themselves they're not clients, they become members, so they can be rewarded, that they can have monetization opportunities. So let's say an ecosystem that have in mind all the stakeholders in the fashion industry, and this is another one.
So we were having a conversation first about actually defining what the metaverse is, and we were wondering, or we were debating, how immersive does something have to be called metaverse? Would you define metaverse as something that is that you can interact with through a medium like VR or AR?
No, actually not. My concept of metaverse is something that already existed in different form and shape. The technology allow us to have a different configuration of the metaverse. But for me, metaverse is an ecosystem. It could be physical or digital that create a complex aggregate of rules, connection, and interlink with the people in it. That is not specifically related to a location or an area as like the ecosystem as we know as government. If I may do an example, I'm old enough likely to have played board game. So back in the days, there was Dungeon and Dragon. So if you think about Dungeon and Dragon, that is a metaverse. The only difference is that you don't have VR, you don't have metaverse, you don't have digital experience. You just have your imagination as the sense to perceive the ecosystem and the world that was created for that reason. So I do believe that metaverse was existing already, but now we have the tools to explore more immersive experience.
I'll just add to what Marco said. Maybe pose a question, I can introduce myself. So it also depends on the use case. In addition to how Marco has defined it, has been existing since a long time. Gaming has been defining and driving it. In very simple sense, right? It's a network of interconnected 3D spaces. And if you look at the evolution of the internet, it's been a medium where some of our 5 senses have been digitized in some sense, right? We started off with digitizing the sense of hearing, the sense of sight, and the metaverse is just taking them, putting them in an immersive experience. And now with haptics, we are digitizing the sense of touch. The only thing I think we can't really digitize in the metaverse is a sense of smell and sense of taste. But
Give it time.
Yeah, as long as you can, transfer all of your human senses into a virtual world, that is a metaverse. And it depends on the use case. Use cases like gaming, you don't have to be fully immersed. Your imagination can take you there. Use cases like virtual tourism or shopping, you need to be fully immersed. You need to go around with your family, get a sense of social feedback when you're purchasing a product, and do that thing, right? So
what do you think the first killer app is going to be that gets 100 million people to use it?
Interesting. I think
You can say
it's not going to be a binary event where the first app is going to crack 100 million. It's going to be a slow grind. There will be multiple apps driving 1 million to 5 million kind of MAU paces.
the most popular one right now?
VR chat.
VR chat.
Yeah.
Is it like roulette chat, or it's just two people talking to each other in VR?
It's like Yahoo chat rooms, but in virtual reality.
Got it. Yeah, communication.
So you can enter chat rooms.
Yep. And some people have created chat rooms where you can do things like play a game of billiards, or some people have put in a shooting range. They have introduced some interesting creative tools where you can paint together or do stuff like that. But there are inherent technology problems. Any room cannot support more than 30 to 40 concurrent users stably. Otherwise, the room starts collapsing. There's too many network complications that start popping up. So that's why game engines become very important, right? Companies that have built game engines and own IP across game engines really have a huge advantage in building and defining the metaverse. So what's going to be really the app that will drive critical mass in the metaverse? It's going to be sports or any kind of content that drives mass engagement, right? Sports has this very tribalistic feeling where millions of people watch it together. And if a million people watch it together in a stadium, and whichever company solves that problem first, either in segments or intelligently through simulating that experience, imagine watching the IPL or the FIFA World Cup in the metaverse from your home.
Who do you think is the leader in this space? Which company? Who do you think will make money off the metaverse first?
Too early to bet on leaders. Bet on people. John Carmack is the guy who's considered.
See, we can't really bet on people. At least we can buy stocks.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm stupid. Who is John Carmack?
Okay, so John Carmack is a legend for all of us gamers. Anyone who's been into gaming in the last 2 decades have idolized him. He's a game designer, software engineer.
What has he designed?
He built the first game engine in the world. He redefined immersion. Until then, games were basically your console games that you've seen, Contra, Mario, console-based games. And suddenly this guy churns out a game engine, and you see Doom 3, where you are traveling in a 3D space and interacting, shooting, killing people, and having this whole immersive experience. John went on to create a few iterations, and from that spawned off a lot of spin-offs. Unreal Engine, what it is today, is basically.
Oh, he's the founder of Unreal.
Yeah.
No. John Carmack created the first game engine from which the Unreal Engine spun off.
Okay.
And the whole gaming ecosystem basically spun off from what he built.
Would you say amongst large companies it's between Microsoft and Meta?
No, Unreal is an independent company. It's,
You don't know anything about Unreal? Oh, bro, Unreal is like how much longer before Meta buys Unreal?
they won't tell.
Fair.
Yeah. Tell us a bit more about Unreal. No, I don't know.
So it's the most popular game engine in the world.
Maybe I'll share screen and show you what Unreal can do.
Bro,
Yeah.
they
Which
released
game?
they released everything.
Uh,
So Unreal Engine is like, it's the engine on which games are built on top of, and they've built all these amazing tools. Okay, so they just released something a couple of months ago, which enables anyone can come in and you can create a game on this.
Yeah. It's
And
like
the
drag and
text-
drop.
Drag and drop, and the textures are insanely realistic.
Yeah.
What is the new engine called? It's called something, right? The tool where everyone can build.
It's Unreal Engine 5.1.
Unreal Engine 5, right?
Yeah.
Five.
So it seems like metaverse is also taking the path of the internet, right? Like chat rooms, then gaming,
Correct.
then so.
So do you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
By the way, what you're seeing.
So this is just a feature on Unreal Engine. This is called MetaHumans, and basically none of these human beings are real. They are avatars generated by blending a combination of virtual assets.
This is the best virtual asset you ever seen, right? Like
Yeah.
I've never seen something be this good.
It's amazing.
I need to get you into gaming. You got to play some of these games. They're too good.
So one controversial question here: why does Neverland, or I forget the destination, the first metaverse destination where you could host Horizon World or Neverland, I forget what it's called, but it has 26 DAU or daily active users, which is insane, right? And it's valued at $1 billion. And why would this fail? Like, why is Centraland? Sorry,
Decentraland. Yes, 291 active user
haven't.
as October 2022.
It's awful.
It's awful.
Yeah. So there's all kinds of companies which are like, they're crypto companies, so to say. They tokenize first and they're building the game, and there's a promise. A lot of these NFT projects which are
NFTs are, yeah.
No, NFTs have a real use case. We can get to that. That's a different thing. But the question I always had is, how the hell are they going to compete with Facebook, Meta, and Microsoft? How can you compete? How can a 10-person engineering team compete there?
I do have a question though. Do you intend a metaverse like any technology virtual simulation, or a metaverse is based on like all the environment being traced on blockchain? Because this is the fundamental difference between like metaverse and virtual experience. Because with our company, we build experience in Decentraland, we build experience in Sandbox. Now we bought a building in Altiverse. That is another, let's say, kind of metaverse, but I call it simulation, that use Unreal Engine 5, very good graphic, because the Decentraland Sandbox, of course, is not that compelling. But the problem is that it's not a real like metaverse as the concept of Sandbox and Decentraland, because in Sandbox and Decentraland, all the lands are NFTs, and all the building are NFTs. All the structures that are there are built on a traceable way. And then the goal of the metaverse, and that's why Decentraland and Sandbox and all other metaverse, like regular metaverse, let's call them, have a different, have a lower graphic, because the way to process all this image and trace all this transaction in the blockchain, as of now, it's impossible because the technology is not that sophisticated. So that's I think the first distinction between
What is one
I do metaverse and
land?
sorry.
What do people do after buying this land? Like on the metaverse, you said you bought a building or a land. Like what happens next?
You wait.
So exactly. No, for us it's more a showcase, because we have this building, and then this metaverse is more like a gamification experience. So we bought this building, and then we're gonna have fashion show in real life, and then we're gonna replicate the fashion show in the building. Or if we have an installation,
That's the phygital aspect of it. Has anyone here played Grand Theft Auto 5, and now 6 is going to come out at some point? Have you guys played?
3 or 4?
You got to play 5, and 5 has a multiplayer mode.
Are you talking about the one on your phone or on an actual?
No,
system?
on an actual system. Okay. So 5 has a multiplayer mode where anyone can create a server, and over 1,000 people can come in on the server. And when you enter the server, you can choose what your occupation is going to be. Once you get in on the server, you can choose a job, or you can start a business, and then you can actually do the business. And you have a bank account, and there's a number that goes up on it. It's kind of
Are
like
you saying real bank account?
real bank account, and real people who are in the city, not a real bank account, but real people in the city.
And these are other users
These
who
are
are
other users.
other
So
Do you think at some point that bank account will become a real bank account?
it's possible. It's possible that they might tokenize it, or each dollar in the game is worth something in the real world. It's like Second Life. That was also a game, but it's really advanced. And people actually role play. So the multiplayer version of GTA is called GTA Roleplay. It's where you actually role play. And the rules of the server are that if you stop role playing, you get booted out. So people come in, they choose a character, they talk in an accent, they'll go to a store, and people stream this online all the time. This is the closest thing to the metaverse that already exists that I've seen. Like there are people who stream this for 10 hours a day. And literally this guy, he'll choose an accent, and all he'll do is, today I got to buy flowers for my wife. And there's another person somewhere in Aurangabad who in the game have married each other.
Yeah.
And they're continuing the story. This behavior already exists. Sorry, just want to take a break to appreciate GTA 5.
Since you both have experience in social media, how do you guys think social media will adopt the metaverse?
So I think a couple of things. I think first, social media has to unlearn what it knows, which is social media is all about control for the platform, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's all about making money on.
Metaverse will be about the control by 2 platforms.
Yeah. Well, let's hope not. Unless Microsoft wins that race, and then it's a very different world, because they're always going to be a platform, a tech provider, versus owning an end user experience, right? I mean, they've stayed away from it till date, quite consciously. So if you think about it,
In Satya we trust.
in Satya we trust, totally.
Yeah.
So I think they'll have to unlearn a lot, because in the social world, you own the consumer, you own his data, you monetize his or her data, and in the metaverse, you really don't own the consumer, right? It's on blockchain. Unless, sure, you
No, metaverse is not necessarily on the blockchain.
yeah.
It can very much be on AWS servers.
Like the game I was playing last night, Echo,
Yeah.
on Oculus, on Meta's platform, is owned by them, right?
No, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's owned by
Data
them.
says
Everything is theirs.
Yeah, it's
So-
the App Store. Yeah.
So what I think will happen is there'll be multiple people trying out different use cases of the metaverse, right? One person will do communication, another will do gaming, third one will do just fashion. So all of this, and somebody else will say, I'll just create the world. Like I can attend a concert or whatever, right? the guy who cracks the highest frequency use case in the metaverse gets the opportunity to own all the low frequency use cases.
What do we
after
think?
that.
If we all had to wager a guess, what do we suspect the first use case will be?
I think that it makes sense that VR chat is insanely popular
Communication, yeah.
because basic communication
do
and
we
the
look like-
randomness.
How original do we look? Not original, but how, like, I'm shaking my hand and expressing myself in a certain manner.
Yeah.
How much does that pass on into the metaverse?
Prashant will be able to answer that.
Guys, you guys need to check out Haptics. The latest CES show had some really cool metaverse hardware like Tesla suit, for example. Tesla suit is like a jacket and a pant that you wear on, and it transmits your full body feedback onto the metaverse. So if I give you a hug sitting in New York, you feel it.
We're there.
You're already there.
Have you guys seen this movie, Ready Player One?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So in the movie, this guy orders I think the X1 suit or something before he goes on a date with his girlfriend, and
Right.
he checks in here. Are you wearing a suit with all full body sensors? And they go on a date dancing, So we're almost there. I think 5G is one thing, and then I'm betting big on Apple to change things on the AR and
Prashant and Marco, we're going to put you on the spot a little bit. Name one company you would bet on which is publicly listed and people can invest in to take advantage of the metaverse. And you can name one publicly listed company.
Okay. So on the consumer side, there is no metaverse company which has any substantial lead. There are infrastructure players, and these can be identified by engineering heads, owning or building different components. But on the enterprise side, it's no doubt Microsoft.
Microsoft more than Meta?
By miles.
Microsoft better than Meta?
Yeah, Meta is screwed. John Carmack resigned last week. Until John Carmack was there, I was, having some hope for Meta. But after he resigned, there's no hope. There's no tangible VR tech guy or metaverse tech guy within Meta's leadership right now.
He's going to sell his stock right now.
You have stock? Sell. I sold mine.
Okay, how do you feel about Nvidia?
So yeah, that's the infrastructure player I'm talking about. So you have people like that, Nvidia and maybe IQI from China, or anyone who's manufacturing hardware. Those guys are going to do fine always.
Nvidia, like for both metaverse and crypto, because Nvidia is basically everyone's buying
I like how
Nvidia.
you're plugging in crypto here.
I'm
Nobody's
not-
interested.
This is the worst time to talk about crypto.
I know, it's a bad word.
Yeah. But Nvidia also people use it to mine.
Has any lead. I don't think there will be any lead until at least 1 or 2 years after Apple launches their VR devices.
Another reason why I think Meta won't do well in the metaverse is because everything that they've done well after Facebook is something they bought.
Yeah, they've acquired.
Everything they've tried to do on their own, I don't think they've done well at all. So their strategy is to keep an eye out on which is the next company that will do well on metaverse and then buy it.
The other controversial view is that any Web 1.0 company was terrible has never built a great Web 2.0 product or even a company, right? And I don't see any.
I mean, that's because
current
between
Web 2.
2010 and 2022, we've
Yeah.
not seen any substantial innovation. It's because weak times create weak men, right? Good times create weak men, and it's been great times for the last 15 years, right? So no real innovation has actually happened.
Also, guys, we all are disclosing that we may or may not have shares in any of the companies.
No, mine is totally organic. It's all names that are popping up in my head. Like.
But we might.
I have no
or
Meta
we
shares
might
left.
But remember, there's only
Let's say
one man
we
who
may have-
professionally trades at this table.
It's always important to have disclosures.
If I may give my opinion on Meta, why it won't succeed in the metaverse, is because, of course, what you say, they stuck in 2010 and now it's 2012, but they don't understand the concept of the metaverse. The metaverse is like also democracy.
Yeah,
It's like democratization of the creation phase of the usage. If you go to Sandbox and you create your own collection, you get 85% of the sales. Sandbox will just take a fee. In Meta, they will take 85% and the creator will take 15%. That's the problem. And the second thing is like, why do I need to have my virtual avatar that looks like me if I have to play around with my imagination in a metaverse? I mean, I can have my replica, but it's just like a little bit lame. Sorry for the word.
Yeah.
Someone was talking to me about the concept of buying watches. Why does somebody buy a Rolex? And if somebody buys a Rolex in the real world, why not spend on an NFT in the virtual world?
Of course.
I'm not able to digest that logic yet.
No, unless this behavior already exists. There's the most expensive CSGO skin. CSGO is a very popular game. The most expensive skin.
CS is Counter-Strike?
Counter-Strike.
So can I tell you something? For the not in the last 5 years, but for a good 10 years in a row, me, Nitin, 4-5 other guys, we have played Counter-Strike every day in office on the network for a minimum of 3-4 hours each.
You never bought a skin?
No. Back then it was Counter-Strike 1.6.
Yeah. So the most expensive skin currently is going for some $800,000, which is nothing but a spray on a gun. And there is a marketplace for this that keeps the royalty of this. So this behavior 100% exists, right? Like buying something for a world where you can signal in a world that you spend a lot of time in.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to buy the blue check now. So
the thing is, it's about, are there enough people that I can show off to in that world?
Yeah.
But how far would you go? Would you buy your house in that?
If I'm going to live there 18 hours a day and sleep
then
in the real world,
it's an obsessive
then I'm going
behavior.
to stop spending in the real world and only spend there.
Of course. It's no-brainer. I've spent $25,000 on a game called Valorant that I play every day for an hour. Dude, this is real, and people will do it. People pay millions of dollars just for a profile picture of an NFT, right? So,
Another question. I got an Oculus and I was playing Echo last night, and I woke up today and I had like this massive pain in my neck and everything. How does that change? Because when you're in a device and you're not doing things which are natural to you for more than a few hours, how does the body cope with it?
Prashant, this is for you. It's your domain.
All right. So it's mostly the first part is the hardware form factor. People have not solved the fine balance that you need to take care of in a decent VR device. So there's a lot of weight in the front of your head, but there needs to be a counterweight to balance on the back. And
Yeah, you end up like this, and you don't realize you're like this for 2 hours in a row, and then when you take it off.
so it's the first time in your life your muscles are used to, carrying a 2-pound weight on the forehead. So I think some of the VR devices I sent across had a counterweight to balance on the back, using some of that thing. And then someone mentioned NVL glasses. Glasses coming out with that kind of form factor solves it.
Have you tried those?
I haven't tried them, but I've tried other MR glasses. But I understand they're pretty cool, man.
Yeah, and the NVL ones are pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay, what really solves this is 5G, right? Why is the headset heavy? Because the headset is carrying a display, a processor, a GPU, a networking thing, a battery pack, and this
Once there's cloud, it becomes easier.
Yeah, so once 5G is supporting consistent bandwidth of 500 Mbps and above, you're just carrying a display on your lens, and everything is just streamed. The processing is always done on the cloud or maybe on your mobile phone for that reason, right? You need to separate the processor, GPU, battery from the display. When that happens, the form factor becomes better.
So it's a combination of two things. It's a combination of not only 5G, which I think is super critical to your point, but also the cost of compute coming down exponentially in the back end, right? It's really expensive otherwise. Even if you have 5G today, 5G is now a reality, right? There are 1 billion people on the planet who are on 5G, of the 6 billion who are connected or 5 billion who are connected. But the back end compute is so expensive with Amazon and Google and Microsoft making money on that compute. That has to come down significantly as well for it to work.
I'll slightly differ on that topic. The backend compute part, this is where gaming companies who have a gaming engine have a massive advantage. Now, take for example a game of Counter-Strike, right? In a map DDoS 2, you have 10 people playing around and shooting bullets which are traveling at ridiculous speeds. And compare a 30-second or a 1-minute session of this game to a 1-minute session of a user who's on Amazon, right? The amount of information being parsed in a 1-minute session of Counter-Strike is ridiculously high compared to an Amazon session. Amazon, the guy's clicking maybe 5 times in a minute to add cart and purchase, that's it. And it's okay if the click registers an event 100 milliseconds later, but on Counter-Strike, it has to be 10 milliseconds or 20 milliseconds. When you shoot a bullet, the guy has to die immediately.
So, for example, in a game, if you are here and I'm here and I shoot, and sometimes as a player, if my internet is weak, the bullet, I've obviously shot you, but you're not dead in the game. Right. It's because my ping is high, which means the time it takes to show your location to me is taking way longer.
I read this article where this guy has created in the metaverse where if you die in the game, you die in real.
That's not real.
That can't be real, dude.
No, so he's created that experience. I'm sure nobody's going through it yet.
Yeah.
But he's saying you play this game, if you die in the game, you die in real.
That's Squid Games.
It's like
Squid
Games.
Games.
It's like Squid Games. It's like Squid Games.
Any of you guys watched anime? There's this anime called Sword Art Online. So it's based in the future and.
But why am I not shocked you watch anime? Since actually.
Hey, no, this has been like enlightening. Can I tell you, you guys have taught us more about the metaverse than we could find online by a mile. Because have you seen the videos online? There was nothing. There was just confusion.
Nothing great.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
This was
Thank
super
you.
useful. Prashant, I'll be in
Thank you so
touch.
much, Prashant and Marco. Bye,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you.
Bye, Marco.
Okay, guys, let's welcome Himanshu, who created India's first virtual influencer called Kyra.
I have a question. Why did you choose the name Kyra?
So we didn't want to be political or religious. So we didn't give her a surname, that's why. Because we wanted to get the most amount of audience possible. So that's why it's a very neutral name, it's a very trendy name. We have also recently launched a South Indian virtual influencer. Her name is Shravya. So we have a fellow from Andhra and he says that Shravya is the most trending name right now in the South. So it's not like a very calculated decision. It's a team of content creators coming up with these names.
Correct, but Kyra sounds like a virtually name, right?
Yeah.
Virtual name. Yeah.
And why did you create a girl? Because we have 5 guys on this table. We won't
So we are working on a guy as well, on a virtual influencer.
No, why did you
No,
create
it
the
makes
girl?
sense because if he's created an influencer in India, we're a male-dominated population on the internet, and if you want followers and viewers, there are going to be more men following a woman.
Nikhil was masale ke liye pucha.
Pucha, this is what I think.
Is that true on social media? I know it's true, but I want to know how true, since you guys are on social media. If you were a cute girl who posted pictures online, what are the odds of getting more likes? I'm not talking about people like that. Okay? I'm talking about us normal guys.
What are the odds? So I've asked a bunch of my friends who are, some of these are girls who are in fashion, and so one of the things I ask is, can I see your audience insights on Instagram, just to see the breakup? Very, very rarely do I see an equal split. In fact, I think probably twice I've seen it, but more often than not, it is male dominated. I'm sure, there are numbers to prove this as well.
Even when we started, Kyra had 90% male audience, 10% female. So we worked very hard through marketing, through reaching out. We actually marketed a lot through memes. So all these meme pages that have 10 million followers on Instagram.
And what is the ratio now?
Now the ratio is 70-30. So we were surprised that a lot of females follow meme pages as well.
So what does Kyra do? Is she a character on one of the metaverses we spoke about? Is it on Facebook's metaverse? Kyra exists there?
Right. So Kyra is a virtual influencer. There's no such person that exists. And Kyra is a virtually 3D created character that we have created. Theoretically, she can go to any metaverse.
Where does she live? Where does she spend her time?
So her story, so we are really focused on storytelling. Her story is that in January of 2022, she came from the metaverse to our world and she lost her memories. So she she came to the digital world. Now she's on a journey to rediscover her memories. That where does she come from? So we haven't told that origin story yet. What is her original metaverse? But we have tried Kyra in different metaverses. So we have tried with Decentraland. We recently did something with MG Motors. So they have created their own MG-verse, and we got Kyra into that for the Auto Expo.
And just out of curiosity, is it a two-way conversation? How do I talk to Kyra?
Currently, Kyra is static, so it's a very curated kind
No audio. She doesn't talk.
She talks. We have a voice actress. There's no interactivity right now. That's the thing that we are working on. The next step will be to make her semi-autonomous.
And how does Kyra make money?
So currently we are
MG Motors.
we have worked with 6 brands, and we actually have more requests than we have the production capacity for. But we don't want to be standing.
You don't have to answer this if you don't want to. But how much does a brand like that pay someone like Kyra? I don't know how much following Kyra has.
So currently Kyra has 200k followers. Typically, like you get 10,000, 1 lakh
On one particular social media platform.
on Instagram. We are working on her music album for YouTube. So we have hired a production team. We're quite happy with the song that they've produced. We're quite excited to launch her. So there is a very popular virtual influencer called Lil Michaela. She's in the US. She has 3 million followers. She's 19 years old and she has her music albums. And her music videos get 5 million views plus 10 million views. And almost all virtual influencers have some sort of music angle.
But tell me this, when I'm looking at Kyra online, I know it's not a real person. I know it's not her voice. In her album, I know it's not her singing. Right. What is the incentive, or why do people follow virtual influencers?
So when we...
Character and storytelling, right? It's like saying Harry Potter isn't real, then why are there Potterheads? It's like saying Sherlock Holmes isn't real, why are we watching them?
Because there was a movie which popularized them.
Yeah, so similarly, social media is like you're building the story out, right? Now tomorrow Kyra could meet a nice guy. Right.
So in a way, everything on social media is essentially a story. I think movies will go there.
Yeah.
Like we've had 3D movies and stuff, right? Like you wear those glasses.
Have you seen Jurassic Park on Oculus? No. You should watch it. It's pretty nuts.
Is it interactive? Like, can you do stuff with the character?
Not yet. But so they have a 2-3 minute movie of Jurassic Park inside the Oculus, where if you look around, there's a dinosaur behind you, there's one in front of you, and
But imagine if they have haptics and you can touch the dinosaur.
that'll be the next step. Yeah. Why do you want to touch dinosaurs? Anyway. Anyway. So I have. By the way, this is
what all we're discovering tonight.
what a weirdo. Can you imagine रात को दीवार पे चिपकली और निकली? What a weirdo.
Have you tried integrating ChatGPT with it? Is this
I was just thinking it'll make sense.
thinking about it when you were.
So we are on the hunt for a CTO. That's the first thing that we want to do. We have figured out that...
Bangalore, dude.
We all are very obliged. Himanshu flew all the way from Delhi to Bangalore for tonight.
I suddenly feel worse for you, dude. I mean, my condolences. about
Thank you
Delhi,
so much.
but
That was very kind.
Yeah.
Guys, if any tech folks are watching this, please do apply. Link should be in the description. But you are in the right city. Bangalore में तू पत्थर फेंकता तो 4 सीटों को लग जाता है गलती से.
My friend was just joking that every corner there's a founder and a CEO.
Of course.
You should spend 1 or 2 days and meet a bunch of people.
There's
We
5 on this table.
So we are currently meeting VCs right now because we have scaled it so far. Although we...
Tanmay is...
I'm not a VC. Small angel. Are you using Unreal Engine for it?
We have ported Kyra to Unreal Engine. We're still figuring out the details, but we believe Unreal Engine is the way to go. Right. So there are 2 pipelines. One is the animation pipeline, which is you see Pixar movies, and one is the gaming pipeline. Currently, animation pipeline is more photorealistic, but Unreal Engine is catching up.
So what is the moat gonna be? Story?
We want it to be story. So we cannot compete with Unreal. We cannot put billions of dollars into making the next 3D company.
So how are real influencers actually reacting to this? Have you asked them what?
A real influencer is reacting right now.
No. The
I have कितना वीडियो बना रहा है?
especially the women.
Right. So we did something with Boat. So they were launching their ANC neckband, and Kyra was the face of the campaign. So we most likely replaced some influencer that was going
Correct.
to be the
Yeah.
face of the campaign with Kyra.
Bastard. How dare you? It's hard enough with the recession coming.
Basically, all jobs are going.
All jobs are
So-
going, yeah.
Kya bachega?
Right.
Tell me a few jobs which will not go away
Which
in the next
will not.
20 years.
The guys who are creating all this.
Yeah. Like AI operators.
Oh, somebody's going to
Like
automate
ChatGPT
create.
now coding and all that.
Yeah.
ChatGPT score. It's mostly like a lot of these are we're still at the assist stage, but like with most of technology, it's like it's almost there, and then one day it's like wink. It's like all right, now I have your job.
Now I strangely feel happier or better because of ChatGPT because I never knew coding. And I used to always feel jealous of these people who used to
Who used to code? Yeah. Now anybody
I
can
hope
code.
It becomes more democratized. right?
Yeah.
Like you give it instructions and it creates a program for you.
It's actually really cool.
It is ChatGPT is really cool.
That's the coolest things I've seen.
It's too cheap, is what I think. $42 too cheap.
It'll go up.
Yeah.
Free, no?
No, there is a pro version.
There's a program.
I'm like, it's too cheap. Everyone's writing ads so easily and all.
In that pro version, you get data till 23.
Write an ad
With
like
my
Tanmay
free
Bhatt.
version, it only shows me like whatever question I ask it. It says data only available till 2021.
Okay. No, but for example,
The data set is still 2021. So they are making GPT-4. Currently,
Is that
it's
the pro version?
even in the pro version. So all the training data it has been given, it's still 2021.
But that's all temporary problems.
Yeah.
That'll-
They're actually making GPT. So this is 3 or 3.5. They're making GPT-4.
Can I be honest? Like, I tried a whole bunch of queries on GPT. Maybe I did not understand how to engineer it properly or how to ask the right questions. But I didn't find it incredibly more useful than Google search in what I searched.
yeah. So there'll be professions like prompt engineers are going to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like there was some specific way for you to prompt. Like there are already websites where you can buy prompts, where there are certain prompts that deliver certain kinds of images on Dolly. So I've spent like $50 buying different prompts. I was like, okay. So for example, this guy, I wanted to make some logos, and this guy had figured out a way to make these nice, beautiful 3D-ish logos. And I said, okay, I want a logo in 3D. So I went and paid $9. I got the prompt, and then I'm able to use it in DALL-E, and I made a
So
logo myself.
creating the prompt will become the skill.
100%. Prompt engineers are going to be a thing.
Got it.
Do you think ChatGPT has a use case in the metaverse?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you think it will power the communication in a
So not just ChatGPT, AI in general. So currently, if you have to create a 3D world, so there's a concept of a metaverse called a digital twin. That whatever exists in the real world, there will be a digital twin of it. Seoul is actually launching a virtual Seoul. South Korea is working on it. There is a tool called NERF. It's Neural Radiance Field. So just with a smartphone, you can capture this room, and it will create a 3D version of it.
Yeah.
Previously,
This
it was
exists.
done using very complex cameras, very high resolution photos. Now
There's
you
an
can do
Indian
it
company
in.
called Interality who's also doing this.
No, because the use cases are amazing, right? But if you think about it, I mean, gaming and entertainment is a no-brainer,
Of course.
right? But education, learning, medicine, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know, through the pandemic, we all, if you fell ill, it was such a boon. I mean, Zoom felt like ChatGPT back then, right? But I mean, when there's a need.
We're hearing a lot of pro Microsoft dialogues in this conversation tonight, aren't we?
Yeah.
Zoom is not though. If
So
you accept
Microsoft is
Teams.
also coming to Meta.
Metaverse?
Microsoft Teams and Office is coming to Facebook's version of Meta. So they're partnering actually.
Yeah, but it looks awful though. Like that doesn't look good. But in the short term, it will benefit. It will benefit folks who already have leverage. Like if I'm a hospital and I have 50 chains across the world, and I have all this data about these smokers who come into the hospital, and these are the problems that smokers have. So now if I have AI, I basically have data that I can use to train this AI model, and that can start spitting out saying, based on the data, this is how you should probably treat the next thing. So if you have the leverage of data, in the short term at least, you have a significant leg up in the AI world.
We also believe like everything does not need to be on the metaverse. Like it's not necessary that you get everything. For example, so it's ease of convenience, right? So let's say you have to put out a tweet or a coup. it's very easy to pull out your phone and type it out. But in a metaverse, you have to wear the headset, you go into a 3D world. So the convenience actually decreases.
So
I think we're assuming that the hardware will evolve so quickly that it'll be like your glasses at some point in the near future. What do you think from a climate change standpoint? Do you think metaverse is the answer?
Wow. This is a question above my pay grade.
There's a lot of I think there's a lot of computing power that goes into building this infrastructure. That's not good for the environment.
But if you were to compare, say I had to travel to Saudi Arabia for a meeting in 2 days. If I can do the meeting in a manner like we're sitting next to each other, can you really equate the computing cost with the plane ride, the cost of the taxi ride, the fuel, all of that?
Right now, you know.
But it doesn't feel
doesn't-
like you're with each other. You know, Zoom does not feel like this. Like the 4 of us could have done this on Zoom, but it wouldn't
It
have
wouldn't
felt
have been
the
the
same.
same.
Yeah, fair.
No, I think as compute gets more efficient, it definitely is a greener solution, right? If the applicability is around, let's say, commute, shopping, meetings, interactions, it is. I don't know if it's the answer, but it's definitely
It'll reduce
far
it, yeah.
better in terms of reducing carbon emissions. Of course, you're right that even compute has to get more green, right? I mean, in the sense in so many ways.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a
Yeah.
step forward.
I think that's a big thing to ponder over, right? Like
Yeah.
today, when it is a possibility, we are thinking, but tomorrow, when it becomes an inevitability, do we all switch very quickly to be more efficient with how we use energy around us?
I think the path to go there will consume a lot of energy, but if you compare sequences, then it might. For example, creating an electric car actually uses a lot of emissions, but using it does not.
We're planning to have a conversation about that.
Yes. Probably on that note.
Yeah. Should we call it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we all do you all want to do one conclusion, what we got from today's discussion?
I'd like to do one.
Yeah.
Like, share, and subscribe to this new channel. Nikhil is going to sit down with many more friends who are incredibly smart, who can come answer our dumb questions.
Yeah, I think metaverse is definitely the future. Some of the most important things will go there, and we'll probably become less human because the friction to actually meet somebody in person will be much higher, right? If you can get everything at home,
Oh man, the number of times people will cancel plans now. Already it's pretty bad.
Yeah, so I
But
think
imagine the amount of time you save in commute and all of that. You just run into each other, right?
Just cancel your Saudi flight, man. It's upsetting you so much.
I just think that only the most important things in life will be real. Everything else, metaverse, some online thing, some automated shit.
Imagine if you start living in a virtual world,
Yeah,
then you'll have kids in the virtual world as well.
yeah, it'll get delivered somewhere.
Why does your mind go to population every single time?
Yeah, I think it's quickly becoming one of the biggest problems on the planet, right? We're not reproducing
We're not
enough.
reproducing enough.
No, so as in there are artificial
That's the only
wombs
problem
already.
India doesn't have. Dude.
Yeah.
Then
But I think we're getting
why
there
don't you
soon.
reproduce?
Huh? I'm waiting for you.
All right, this is a good time to end it.
Hey, wait. We have to get
Umang,
Umang.
yeah.
No, I think experiences at the end of the day are goosebumps, right? And technology is just an enabler to drive those goosebumps. And I think metaverse will provide those moments, and technology will provide those moments. But I'm a big believer in this. But nothing replaces this, right? At the end of the day, I think these experiences will get utilitarian. These experiences will help with conveniences. These experiences will help with healthcare, financial services, travel, experiencing, even an F1 race or an IPL cricket game if you can't travel. But at the end of the day, I think nothing will replace human interaction in the physical world because there is that need. We are a social being and nothing replaces this, right?
Why don't you guys go check out Kyra? It's Kyra Onig on Instagram. Tell us if our babies would be good looking. See you next time.
Okay, thank you all for watching. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I'm playing Beat Saber. Right?
Dude, did you know you had a body in this?
Beat Saber depth.
I can see my hands. I suddenly saw my legs, which is a little weird. And I also saw my crotch. But that's not looking good.
I'm the only one who's wearing it.
How do you make sure your head is straight when you don't bend down?
That's because I have spinal strength.
Yeah, how do I get out of YouTube by that?
What are you watching?
Watching you on the Rajamani podcast.
I have a search.
Oh.
Oh,
Beautiful.
fuck, I love this.